This type of Yerushalmi Ma'asros. And the article is about edition where Daf Mem Gimel Amrav, the fourth line from the top. Rabbi Yerushalmi ben Lakish, which in the Vilna is on Chav Gimel Amr Beis, the sixth line from the bottom. Also, Rabbi Yerushalmi ben Lakish. In the Kamnaki, he throws in, like sometimes he does for some reason, which we already mentioned before, we don't fully understand, because Itmar is a Lashon of the Bavi, not a Lashon of Yerushalmi. So it's an Itmar, right? They both say, Moi Chacham, Rabbi Akiva, Sidan Shasharim. Rabbi Akiva and Chacham had a machlekes, whether the Tzefetz is chayiv and the Tzefetz is not chayiv. But they do, the Chachamim, Moi Rabbi Akiva, B'Sidan Shasharim, that in the order of the year, Shemil Sheni, if not Bo Shlish, it was a Ma'aser Sheni, then it goes after Ma'aser Sheni. Ani, if it's the time of Ani, Ma'aser, in other words, the third year, at that time, then it's Ma'aser Ani. So they might argue about whether those evidences argue, but we always go after Shlish in determining which year of Ma'aser it is. On Rabbi Yochanan said, Hefker behekdesh v'suya, machlokas Rabbi Akiva Chachamim. If you're mafkir or makdish peros mechubarim before they may be shlish, and then you were zoich them or redeem them after maybe shlish, and Surya, which is a maybe shlish, if you're in Surya, which is maybe shlish before a Jew purchase it, and then a Jew purchases from a goy, this machlitz Akiva Chachamim, right? Akiva parts all these all together. Chachamim mechayev l'fi cheshbon. Wherever it's going to be Ad Yisrael, is chayav in cases of hefker, hekdesh, and suya. And the brisa, evidently, which we had previously, which said about specifically, or is the Mishnah? The brisa, no? The brisa beginning of the Gemara, brisa at the beginning of the Gemara had spoken about at the beginning of the Gemara, not Kamnaki, but the brisa which had spoken about lifnei goy. It's one example of the three examples of the machlekes. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish said, the Rabbanan said, in terms of the determining the Shtas Ma'aser by tree, we go after Chanata, after the budding. We go by rice and milk, we go after Ashosha when it takes root. So if the tree was budded, or the seeds took root in the hands of Hefker, Hekesh, or in the hands of a guy in Syria, Rabbi Akiva concedes that which the later on it grows in the reshus of the soil is chayiv. It doesn't after the beginning. That all these is because it's before Hebi Shlish, or the equivalent. In other words, even though if it's maybe Shlish, it's later time. Chanata or Shrasha are before the equivalent of Shlish, and therefore Rabbi Akiva is moided in that scenario that you are going to be chayav with cheshbon later on. Okay, so Zara b'churba, you planted a churba, which is a root which has no roof, b'vir shlish, and now it became a third grown. V'sicha gaba, and then you put a roof on top of it, made it like a house, and the Yerushalmi Orla, Perak Aleph, Sov Halacha Beis, says, obviously the Raisa, that which grows in the house is part of the Shumas Ma'asros, because it says Hayotzei Hasodeh. Pasuk Varim Tez Vav Chav Beis. It's not Hayotzei Hasodeh; it's in the house. Therefore, it's part. So you plant the churba, and there was maybe shlish and sicha rabba. Adai Rabbi Akiva, the seves chayav. According to Rabbi Akiva, the seves is chayav because they were by shlish. It was outside. Adai to Rabbanan, but according to Rabbanan, at the seves potter. Whatever grew in the house is potter, and it does not go after the shlish. Zarba buys every yasichul. Now, what about the converse? You plant in the house and then remove the roof afterwards, maybe shlish. I'll die to Rabbi Akiva. According to Rabbi Akiva, the 27 is potter. I'll die to Rabbi. So the shitasa which we had here. I'll die to the Rabbanan. The 7 is chayv. The Rabbanan the 7 is chayv. Again, the shitasa as we had here already. Now the Gemara extrapolates this further. Af b'chala kain. Well, actually, Gemara asks this question. Apechalokain, Machlokes Rabbi Akiva Rabbanan, is by challah, is it the same thing? If the grain grew partially under the roof and partially without the roof, is this also Machlokes Rabbi Akiva Rabbanan? Because obviously challah and truma are linked together. So that's it, just like truma is potter, so to challah is potter, or not. Ma'at boim Rabbi Akiva. So Gemara says, what do you want Rabbi Akiva? Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Akiva says, parents chutz, they grew up in constant two, all together. They went there to Chayovin. So certainly in our case over here, that they partially grew b'chil because you removed the roof. So the Gemara says, Ini is where Rabbi Akiva Krabiloza Yosam actually. Rabbi Akiva is in Yerushalmi Chala, Perry base, and the Gemara there says that there I think it's actually the submission. Gemara says Rabbi Lezer. Gemara says if Akiva says if the Gilgal Isa was in Eretz Yisrael, even in the space Chutzlaretz, the Gilgal Isa is in Eretz Yisrael, then he's chayiv in Chala, right? He argues Rabbi Lezer. There's a patters in that case. There's a pattern. He says it's a Gilgal Chutzlaretz, it's patter, even though the Gilgal is in Eretz Yisrael. So we see that Rabbi Akiva does not follow the growth at all in terms of challah. It goes after the gilgal when you knead it into a dough. So therefore, if he holds that if it grows in chutzlaretz, if Rabbi Akiva holds that it doesn't go after if it grows in chutzlaretz, as long as the gilgal is in Eretz Yisrael, it's still chayiv. It doesn't matter. So something which grows in house in Eretz Yisrael, since the gilgal is in Eretz Yisrael, even inside a house. Because obviously Gilgal is always inside a house. So if the Gilgal is in the house, he's certainly going to be chayiv, right? So that's he says. It is what who takes the growth into account. Yosef Makshe. You have a good question, but since he doesn't take into account, you don't have a question to ask because everything about Gilgal, we don't care where it actually grew. Gilgal that's so chayiv b'chayiv midaraisa. It's chayiv b'chayiv midaraisa. Gilgal chutzor it's pot b'chayiv midaraisa. Okay, now the Rabbi Bun Bar Chia boy, Rabbi Bun Bar Chia said, ask Rabbi Zira. Zarab Atichain Nakuf. He planted in a non-perforated flower pot. Has no hole. And therefore it's going to be potter. The cover. It's made a shlish in that flower pot. And then you pierce the hole in it. So what's the story? So it's interesting. Kavnoki has a whole section missing here. It just got left out. But there is a parish on the Kavanoki. The text is missing. So the Gemara says let's go. He said, what's the question? It's now it's you didn't there was you pierced the hole after it was baby shlish. It's it's chayav korabon according to Tosefos. And Akiva it's butter, right? It's regular machlokas. Rabbi Avin. Rabbi Avin said Asio Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, but she's Rabbi Gamliel Skeno. The Shimon Gamliel says in our Mishnah, Bamed Voram Burim Shalok the Lokul B'Sur Shalom Onus Ma'asros is chayev. It's when he bought the land that that goes like his like Gamliel, his grandfather. In Taman, we learned over there. Gamliel, no, it's his father. She's no, his grandfather. Here, she's Gamliel's kingdom. The thing that they saw you recently going to Syria. Jews are sharecroppers who go in Syria. Where Lezer Mechai Paris in the Ma'asros, and Lezer says their parents are Chayiv in Ma'asros, even though they don't learn land. Ushvius, and the Chayiv in Shvius also. Gamliel Pater, Gamliel Paters, since the crown is not his. So here too, Although perhaps Eretz Yisrael would be Mechayev, but in Chutz La'aretz, in Syria, it's not Mechayev if they own the land. And therefore, the Mishnah said, you're only going to be Chayev if you actually get a chelik in the land. The Rabbi Omer Lefi Cheshbon, Rabbi says go Lefi Cheshbon. Roisha. So we said this right. The Mishnah's going on the Reisha. In other words, that back in the beginning of the Mishnah, it said that if you look at its butter, so that maybe said no. In the beginning, going back to the Mishnah, that it's Chayev Lefi Cheshbon. Okay, now we're up to Halacha Gimel. Hamatamed. The Nasan, you making temet. Temet is where you take water and put it with the dregs, and it becomes fermented, and it becomes a kind of beverage. So you tamed nasan b'mida matzkidi. Also, you put in a certain measure of water, and you take the same measure of water, and even if the temet has the taste and account as wine, it's not considered wine milchayv in Ma'asros, because tam of mamosho. It's a taste without mamoshes. Taste without mamoshes is not chayv in Ma'asros. Rabbi Yehuda Mechayev. He says no. The taste in itself, the taste in itself, could not. Well, he says there's a switch which went on. Some of the water remained in the sediment, and some of the sediment transfers into the water. So therefore, therefore it is considered to be status of wine, and it's chayav in Ma'asros. Matzah yesach. So you put in 3 measures of water. If you took out your new beverage, you had 4 measures. So then it certainly has mamashos. So it has significance because that's a sheer maziga. So then you have to you have to take mimakam acher. Must have mimakam acher lefi cheshbon. You reckon that you have 1 quart now, 1 quart of chiyuv, and that one quart of chiyuv, and that 1 quart of chiyuv you don't take from itself because you might be taking from the water or the wine. So therefore, you take based on taking somewhere else on this wine, which is in the which is now part of the cheshbon of 1 quart of wine, which is now the temet. Let's see what comes next here. Mishnah Zayin. Well, it's really. Well, Mishnah Zayin really it's a new thing, and at the top of Mendal, but I think I misspoke. The Bnei Moshe says, "Moshe makam achad v'chesh klomer yesh l'tel makam achad afishon zeh hayeter oz mafishu v'chesh man yeter v'la motzi kan shumas ha'maiser mikol." At night, take up shumas maiser from the thing itself. In other words, it's the chiddush is that you can't take makam achad. It's not unique beer in itself, which you're taking, because it's all got mixed together, and therefore it's got yesh bila, and therefore you're taking off the proper measure, not concerned with taking off from water or wine or wine water. But that's pashut. The chiddush is if you even take off the makam acher, which is actual wine, on this temet, because now it has the status of wine, and since it's the sediment which was never meiser previously, it's not meiser, and therefore you can take off from elsewhere as well, according to the cheshbon, which he found of a quarter more than the original amount of water. Okay, I assume the Lord's going to come back to that, but again, we're on top of Mendalit, so we can stop here for today and continue with the next Mishnah tomorrow.